Hey guys, my guest tonight, medium Matz, is going to tell us how we can recognize if the bad mood we're experiencing is not ours and is brought on by someone else or something else. I'll be right back. Grab your popcorn and snacks, find a comfy spot, take a seat or lie down, and let me transport you to a place of fantasy, ghost stories, ancient legends, odd creatures, alien encounters, and other magical topics. You may even decide to join the conversation. From faraway lands to your own backyard, with a small dash of pixie dust, turn out the lights and open your minds. The journey is about to begin. Happy April Fool's Day, everybody. How's everybody doing? I hope you said great. I'm great. I'm back on Firefox. That makes me really happy. I see Nancy's in the waiting room. Yesterday was Easter. Everybody getting boiled eggs and all that, and chocolate. Oh my God, the chocolate. Yes, I have chocolate before the show just to give you guys a heads up in the morning. I enjoy it so. But anyway, I was going to give you guys an update on the gingerbread house. It's not ready yet. It'll be ready tomorrow. I had some extra stuff I was doing to it today. So I will film a video tomorrow to show during the show. And as you can see, my Xfinity is its usual happy self. I tried to do a reset on it, and Xfinity tells me it can't find my modem, and yet here I am. So I don't know. I'm looking at either a new modem or a new internet provider because I can't have it. Anyway, I should introduce myself, huh? I'm an idiot. My name is Charlotte. I'll be your host for the next hour. I'm also the owner of the California Haunts Paranormal Investigation Team based out of Sacramento, California. We are 45 strong up and down the state, which means if you have a paranormal problem, we can help you out. We may not be able to get you right away, but we can help you. And in the case that we can't get you right away, we do have mediums on staff who can phone you and talk to you about what may or may not be going on in your residence or business. And if there is something going on, then they can generally calm down the energy until we can get out there. And it usually doesn't take us more than 2 days to get out to your location. Okay, so getting back to the gingerbread house, it's great build. It was different. I didn't expect it to be like that because it had different, it's different candy. It's like Christmas and Valentine's Day had similar candy colors. This is totally different. I mean, we're talking jelly bears and things like that. So I was trying to work with that, and so I think you're going to like what I did, but I still have about 20 minutes more to go on it, and then I can show you. In addition, I've got my Easter eggs. Poor Maurice and I made these Easter eggs, along with Grogu back here, and we can eat them because I wanted to share them with you guys because they're galactic eggs, and they're really, really cool. And I used a kit, but they're easy to make from scratch. So I'm thinking I'm going to maybe do something a little later on to show you guys how you can do them from home and not have to pay the $6 for the box of galactic Easter eggs, okay? There's a really simple way you can make them. Okay, that being said, if you are watching from Facebook today, and a lot of you are, please be sure to hit that follow button if you haven't done so already, if you like the show. We really appreciate it. Plus, along that line, leave us a thumbs up, a happy face, just a smile. Just a smile. Let us know how you feel about us, and comment in the chat room. We're always looking for comments in that chat room. Same thing with YouTube. If you haven't subscribed already, please feel free to do so. We've got a lot of videos over there, and I think you'll find something that you like. I'd like to vary my video content because I'm a journalist, photojournalist. Just like on Wednesday, we're going to be talking about Lyme disease that might have been spread via a biological weapon here in the U.S. Okay, so we're going to be talking about that. So that should be an interesting thing, and that's Wednesday. So that's what I mean. I like to vary my topic and what I'm talking about. And again, over on YouTube and everywhere else, we're talking TikTok everywhere. Help us get our subscribers up to 1,000 over YouTube. Comment, show us some happy faces, show us some love, and it's all good. It's all good, right? It helps us out too with that algorithm. Okay, that being said, I love that word. That being said, welcome to the show. And if you haven't been here before, you're watching tonight, you're in for a treat. Medium Nancy Matz has been around for a long time, and she knows her stuff. Okay, she does know her stuff. I've worked with her for a long time, many years. In fact, I'm not going to say how old I am, but I was a punk. I wouldn't say a punk, but I was young enough to be in college still and taking classes when I met her. So here we are. All right, without further ado, I'm going to bring her in, and we'll get this show on the road. And like I said, I'm just happy to be back on Firefox, broadcasting from Firefox. All right, here we go.
I'm the one. I'm guilty of calling her a punk. She met me. I can't remember if it was a class you were taking or you were working for a newspaper at that time, but I was doing the Sacramento Cemetery tours, and she just, I know all about this. she, she saw straight up to me, and I thought, what a punk, what an attitude. Changed her life. Changed her
Well, I
life.
think, it was, I was the editor of my newspaper at
Uh
college.
huh.
And I
Oh, is
decided to
that
do a
what it
haunted
was?
Sacramento thing, yeah. And I had met Dennis Hawk prior to meeting you.
Oh, uh
He's the
huh.
one that told me you were at the cemetery doing the tours.
Uh huh.
And I remember going in there, and he had told me, and this was funny at the time, he had told me that 100 people had been abducted by aliens in Sacramento. And I did have an attitude at that point. And so when my photographer and I arrived at the cemetery, because you had a sign up sheet, I go to sign the sign up sheet, and 100 people had signed up ahead of me. And I looked at
Oh,
my photographer and I said, and these are all the people that have been abducted by aliens. That's how sarcastic and wise ass I was back then. But
you're
that was
just
my
a
first thought
kid.
was, and all these people that were abducted are right here in the park going through this, going through this tour with the psychic. But boy, did things change. Then after that tour, I really got into it all. I started taking photos in infrared, got that really cool photo, which I could show you guys at some point of Nancy standing next to Mayor Woolsey, one of the ghosts there, and, we really got into it. And here I am,
Yeah.
it's 18, almost 23 years, 24 years later.
Ooh,
I
it's
know,
more
that
than that,
hurts.
honey.
Well, I've been
20.
officially investigating paranormal for 18 years.
So it had to be at least 20 to 22 years, huh?
Yeah, because it had to be before that when I was in college. So,
I
but
think you
the
met me
little
pretty
between.
early on in the cemetery tours, second or
Yeah,
third one.
yeah, I
I
think
did
so.
6 years.
Yes.
Um, I do what I do, and I have doubts. Am I insane? Am I picking what's happening? And John Betancourt really, he was a curator for the Sacramento City Cemetery, Broadway and H. Really desperately need some money, some vandals that come in and broken headstones. And he met me out there in July, hotter than the Dickens. Just walk around, tell me what you see. And of course, I'm not comfortable. And anybody who does this business, you have to be relaxed. You have to be comfortable. It must have been 115 in the afternoon. And I got some ghosts to talk to me. And then 3, 4 days later, at the night of, he never told me if I was right. He always, if he knew an answer, he always would tell me, not tell me anything. I go in there absolutely blind. 10,000 cemetery plots of the old
Yes.
mid 1850s, and then behind that 10,000, another 10,000 more modern. And it was
Yes.
quite a strain for me, because you have to have not confidence or yeah, confidence, but what I did, I tell you, because I know a lot of people who have taken classes want to be psychic, and I want you to be feeling good about it. And I would say to them, I allow the energy to be come to me. And if it doesn't. If I see somebody, fine. If I don't see somebody, fine. And I let that go. And
Hmm.
so I would start at the cemetery. I always take a few breaths and I say, show me who wants to speak to me. And I would get like a pull. So the very first night I saw the mound of this sweet little lady, not a very big person, probably 5'3", hunched over. And after 80, 90, 100 years, she'd lost all her um, distinctive personality, but her look. She was just a
Hmm.
mound to me. And she was crying, all through my babies are buried here. And of course, being a mom, a grandma, a great grandma now, I just, it's so hard because I have such a belief system on the trueness of why we're here and how long we're here and
Hmm.
everything. And it still bothers me that someone would grieve so. So we were probably 50 to 100 feet away. And I said, she's telling me that all three of her babies are, and I'm pointing, all three of her babies are buried there. And
Hmm.
I can't back on what I say. What I get is what I get. Bam, that's it. If I have doubts, I'm not going to share. I'm just going to say what I got. So a few days later, the night of the tour, there was marked on that grave of 2 children. He says, I got you. I go, eh. So we walked another half hour around. And that night I convinced him, because in his searching Broadway and H Street, Broadway and 10th Street. Is that right, Char? Anyway,
Something like that, yeah.
there is a road that goes right in front of the cemetery, so people can go back and forth. And then there's a headstone maker in front. And at one time, the cemetery extended past where the
Yes.
cemetery stone guy.
Yes.
And that child, the first of her 3 babies, were buried out there. And they just moved it. They didn't carve, but they did note it in the logs. And he said, gosh darn, Nancy, there were 3 babies buried there. I go, oh, really? So those of you who want to get into this, you allow your mind to hear.
Yeah.
And you cannot doubt.
Yeah.
So in these years, Char calls me up. The first thing I get, and hold on to that, is what I get. And some of it is just craziness. I could talk about these people all night long. I had a client this afternoon, and I'll tell what, if you're listening tonight, Miss T, I'm not going to give names. I'll just share the situation. Her dad showed up, and he was very nice man. He lived to be 102, I think. Loved him. I liked him because we've been talking ever since another sad event in her life 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. And he said to me cautionally, he said, tell her to prepare herself emotionally. There's a lot of stress and drama coming. He used other words. Emotional stress coming, brace yourself. And I go, oh man, I don't want to say that. It's like, ooh, but you have to, because if you don't say it in the nicest way possible, then you never can let it go. I can't let it go. If I've been too, not chicken, but I'll say it in the best way possible. And I said, I want to caution you. Dad has a kind of a sour face, and he was saying, I caution you, honey, you're going to have some emotional times ahead of you. And he didn't feel really happy. She says, oh, my boyfriend just told me he has pain in his left lower side. It's been nonstop for a week. Well, he just went cancer surgery 6 months ago. And it was in his lungs and other places. And I went, Point was, Father visited me yesterday. We usually talk on Sundays, the last Sunday of the month. She said, I'm going to visit my man. I didn't want to say his name. I'm going to visit my man tomorrow. Easter. Let's talk on Monday. So yesterday, Dad came by and visited me in the middle of the afternoon. And that's when she was visiting her man while he cooked her dinner. And that's when he said to her, I have some serious pain. In fact, right now, this afternoon while we were talking, he was at the doctor's. And she says, in that curious that you would get a message at the same time I was visiting him, and he's telling me this, and I go, what if I had doubted that? You have to say it. So in some ways, it's not like a doom and gloom statement as much as it's preparing her to be stronger. See, it's amazing to me. We're going to be talking about the energies of people, spirit, non-spirit. And that's a good example of an energy coming to me yesterday. Of course, I see them too. But he kind of like, I could feel him around my face, like, I want to tell you something. I'll go, okay, tell me. And then the brother showed up in a costume of the era that he's living right at the moment. And I shared it with her, and she says, oh my God, he's so funny. It was really fun. But these people show up, and I go, oh, what do you want to tell me? Sometimes they don't show.
Really quick before we get started, I want to talk to people on Facebook primarily. There's an issue going on with Facebook and my events, and I don't know why it's doing it. Normally, and I'll explain the process to you real quick. Normally, when I set up the events on StreamYard, I'm able to set up the correct date, the time, and everything on StreamYard. And normally, if StreamYard is working right, it moves it over to Facebook into the events file automatically on Facebook, so you guys can access the events. The problem I'm having with it is when I go to share it over to Messenger for my group in Messenger, it's giving me for some people, not everybody, I don't know why, it is putting the wrong date on the shows. So, for instance, Marisa got one today, and when I put it onto her messenger, and she's a freaking, she's a frequent watcher. She's on the night. It says April 2nd, not April 1st, for the show airing. That's a Facebook issue. That is not a StreamYard issue. It's something Facebook is doing. So be aware of that. So if you get, if you guys on Messenger or anywhere else, I'll put those shows out, the shows out between 1 and 3 o'clock, to post everything so you guys get the notice on them. So if you see one that says, if I put one out between 1 and 3 o'clock and you see one that says the next day, that's not correct. That's going to be that day show. Because even if you click on it when the show's on, it'll go to the day's show. But I don't know what Facebook is doing. I don't get it. It's been like that for about a week. I don't understand. But that's what they're doing. So I just want to put that out there. In case you've been missing any shows off and on. All right, let's continue.
The connection's not real good. You froze a couple of times. I belong to some newsletters, lots of them, in fact. And the one I particularly like is QUORA.com. And I'll let you look it up. There's a gal named Elizabeth. Now, sometimes I agree with people, sometimes I don't. I want to give her credit for writing a couple of things I'm going to just read. But then everything after that is my sit down. Took me a few hours to type this up because energy hits us from all directions. I'm going to put this again. I have a temperamental cat. And I was putting myself together and he come in and meowed at me and I felt like I got hit wrong. So keep that in mind. It can be a person. It can be a spirit person. It can be an animal. I used to ride horses and we'd do events. And I rode a female horse named Butters. Oh my gosh, sometimes I got kind of afraid of her. She'd look at me like, do I have to tolerate you again? I was very good to her. So anyway, she was speaking to this lady, Elizabeth, and I didn't give her last name because I want you to find it. And sometimes this newsletter, QUORA.com, wonderful entries. I did sign up. My life has been in turmoil for months now. Besides dental work, I had eye surgery and helping someone move. It's like, dang, slow down. Mm-hmm. So I would like to give you what she wrote because she's lovely. But then I want to add something here. She could be of a culture that believes in demonic possession. And I want to be real clear that this is my truth. I married a Catholic first time around. Second time around, I married someone who became a spiritualist like I am. And in the Catholic world, there are bad spirits and good spirits, and they could be demonic. And it's not a negative stuff, but I do this and have been doing it not only all my life, but professionally, 33 years. And I've come across so many different spirit kind. And my truth is that we die, we become spirits. And those who are emotionally unhealthy gravitate and become ghost. Mm-hmm. If the ghost is insane, then they can go Lulu-Tuli. And I just recorded What Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest because some of those personalities become dominant. If it was a spirit person, these guys can go crazy. And I've actually seen spirit people. In fact, I just did something with Shar and I saw insanity. And I went, and Shar and I haven't really spoke to it a lot, but I don't know if she's finished. And I thought to myself, they're talking about something else. And I see something pretty bad. What do we do here? Do I go out there and just yell at them and get out? I don't know. But I did find water under the ground. Sometimes spirit peoples are attracted to water. There's another force. And so she has, I fixed a couple of words. Common signs of negative possessions. And my girlfriend, Karen Rothstein, who we have to slow our lives down so we can finish our book on possession. And we talk a lot on possessions. And one day she called me up and said, oh my God, you have someone on your back. I go, I do. I think she said back, you've got someone. I had to really calm myself and go, oh, Who are you? I'm not going to let you stay there. And I kind of scolding myself because I know better. But I want to go through what she said because I have quite a bit. I will give you a lot of information. You can either ask for a script or go back and listen to it again. Remember, she only gets one. If it's your computer, she gets one click, so you can listen, watch it many times. And I hope I help you going into this job. Purity of wanting to help others, service to others. Absolutely, get into it. I've never made a lot of money. I've never allowed myself to be famous on TV or anything. So we're just a working class peoples. And now that I'm this age, I do have to charge everybody. So if you want to know more about me, she's given my website at the end. So you have to wait until the end of the show. This is her words. This to me is an interesting question. Reason is because I had instances where I was possessed. And the feeling was not pretty at all. It was like one moment I was trying to ask for help, but the entity will keep from asking for help. It would exhaust me mentally until at my mental state, safe space, if it would corner me and torture me from the inside out. Sometimes, in some cases, my appearance would change slightly due to what was possessing me. In turn, if I tried to speak, it would be for momentary moments. It would try to take full control of my body and make my walk, the way I acted or talked, into a nightmare. It was a nightmare because I almost lost who I was. Odd behavior or erratic actions by an extremely sharp impulse or thought, a lack of trying to get spiritual clean, and if so, remainders of said entity. So that's where I wanted to stop it because I want to go on. Remember, this is her interpretation, but I felt like this lady was not making this up. And I felt like she had, of course, I would pick it up. It was a man, possibly family, possibly alcoholic, a shorter man and boxy looking. So, Elizabeth, you get to listen to this. Um, uh, so, in my thoughts, I wrote down some things I want you to be aware of. You can have possession of a loving parent or family member. You can have it of somebody that you don't particularly like from the family. You can also pick up somebody at the grocery store. You can pick up somebody at a bar, a pub. Got it? Someone else's home, shopping mall. And it depends on the person what you're lacking or wanting in your life. You could obsess about it, and that person who's had it in their life but died can sense it on you, like a shopaholic. So you go to the mall and you're panning all over everything in the store, going here and going there. You could pick up somebody who wants to shop also, and that could almost drive you crazy. See what I'm saying? Like, we have to learn who we are. And one of the steps I go in there, and I should stick to it now, this is the hardest thing I have my clients do. They want to date, they want to do this, they want to do that. And yet you have to identify who you are as a person. Do you really know who you are? What is your faults? What are your prejudices? Do we have to do it all the time? Every time Nancy speaks, that we have to go through this exercise? Well, the problem is that if we're talking energy like we are tonight, a lot of times it comes into play. Am I happy where I am at my 7th decade of life plus of life? Absolutely not. I've had a lot of highs and lows. And unfortunately, the first marriage didn't work out. I'm in my second marriage, almost 21 years. And I've probably evolved 2 or 3 times. We do in our lifetime. You change who you are. Do we have to be as old as I am to figure everything out? I'm sorry about this. That headset mixes my hair up. So in some ways, I'm going to go slow with this. I want you to just kind of digest it. We don't pick up everybody all the time, but you can on occasion, particularly if you're ill, you haven't eaten as well as you could, you haven't slept as well. If you're vulnerable, but with the right vibration. And so you might say, well, how do you know what your vibration is? I wore a colorful shirt tonight just for this. This is one of those Hawaiian shirts, Char. I just love it. It's a little heavier. You put,
Yeah.
This has real red flowers on it, Hawaiian flowers on it. But what if that's my vibration because it makes me feel good? See? maybe it feels, maybe, what if it were a color that I don't particularly wear?
Mm-hmm.
I think I wear every color, especially being a dark kid like I am. Probably yellow and white I wouldn't wear. It would wash me out. But say I'm in a bad space and my energy field is a yellow and white or yellow and green, lime green. And there's an entity going around who's lost, and they don't have to stay in one place. A mentally ill spirit that has become a ghost
Mm-hmm.
can be despondently trying to find his home, his safety. I brought this up once before of a young man telling his dad, Mom, there's a spirit there. He recognizes me as somebody he known before. Well, this spirit man was from a wholly different century. He was looking for his child, and this child looked like him. So I said, realize this was a man that died. This is a man who's walked into your house. You've allowed him to come in. You didn't know it. He thinks your child is his. Be honest with him. Do you know how long he's been there in spirit? It's been over 150 years. Your child is now waiting for you in the wonderland or the
Mm-hmm.
afterlife or the heaven, word it any way you think he might receive that. This is our child. Make them understand, be compassionate, and make them turn around and look. There's all kinds of situations. Some of the symptoms of a spirit or a living person taking hold, and I want Shara to share a couple of things that happened to her. If you become attached by somebody, remember a human being that has lost his flesh, not necessarily a demon, and in all these years, I've never been hurt by a demon. I've never seen a demon. I've seen insanity. I've seen animals, but I've not seen a horned, ugly, grotesque demon. Now, spirit people can look bad, but to me, they're all people because when I touch them, I see the humanity that they're trying to hide that they don't want to move to. Or I'll see them as they were before they became grotesque. So this is my truth, everybody. These are people who've been possessed that I have seen and witnessed or tried to help in all these years. And the idea has come to me. Someone who's dissociated from their family and friends, the change in the personality, quiet to loud and reverse, a lot of anger issues. Now that doesn't equate to just that. It could be that a senior person in the family has dementia or Alzheimer's, beginning of that. Perhaps they're ill. Perhaps they don't sleep, or you have to discern what's really happening. But I also believe that the elderly have other elderly people connect to them. And I have seen that, especially the best of friends. Sometimes the best friend will die first, and then they'll come and join the other person. Now, if that one had regrets, that senior then becomes personality of the one that attacked. Very strange. Mm-hmm. Restless or broken sleep. What if you suffer from sleep apnea, or your bed isn't comfortable anymore, or you have a child or someone that keeps waking you up, or perhaps you have a medical problem, or you've been moving too much, you got broken body. You sometimes will need medical help to determine if there's a natural, unnatural element to your not sleeping or getting broken sleep. Someone who continually hurts themselves. Now, have I dealt with that? I must have, because the thought of it popped into my head. I think it was a parent of a child that had the cutting, and people say, why did they cut? There's an expression I've heard a lot. Sometimes in pain, I know I'm alive. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people get so dead into life, they have to cut or create pain. So that brings them back. So they're floating out of the body more, like up. I'm showing my hands around my head, so they're all pushed out like this. Sometimes we get out of our body. We can't stay in. I address groups of people, and one day I was looking at this lady, and I'm looking at her, and she looked back and she says, what are you looking at? And I says, you're not staying in your body. I'm looking right at you, and your spirit jumps one way, comes back, and jumps the other way. I was trying to figure out where you were going to end up. But sometimes we have to pull ourselves in. So people who hurt themselves, a lot of times that is because they can't stay in their body. Now it sounds silly, but how many times have you said to somebody, I sure can't stay focused. I can't seem to, I was on the freeway and I drove to work, and all of a sudden I was there. I wasn't even thinking about driving. Yeah, there's something about automatic like that. But a lot of times you're not home, honey. How many have been through this is terrible. How many have been through a lecture and you don't remember anything that was said? You left. You're gone. That happens a lot.
Hmm.
But also, those who have so much trauma in their life, they will hurt themselves. Is it them or somebody attached to them who also hurt themselves? So desperate to control their life that they cut themselves. uh, I also want to add, and I did put this, keep in mind the attacks can also be psychic. Um, seems like you are questioning who or what is giving you these thoughts.
Hmm.
This could also be mental illness. Man, there's a lot of dynamics. If there's somebody, and Shar needs to address this, and maybe she remembers the incident. I remember a couple, someone who doesn't like you. And what if they give thoughts, I wish she'd jump off a bridge? And you might internalize it as, I've got to hurt myself. So make sure you know what I'm talking about. And these are all things that you could see in medical books. I've been doing this every day for so long that I see trends. I see things that happen. And I made it a little broad. My gosh, I have 45 minutes, 50 minutes to give this to you. So you might want to go back. Just say disassociate from family and friends, change in personality, quiet to loud, and then or reverse. Of hurting yourself. Keep in mind attacks can also be from the psychic peoples. They don't like you. I tell you, I did first 15 years I was doing this. I worked Spirit of Grace, Citrus Heights, California, and I was somewhere every weekend, psychic fairs, conventions. I mean, everywhere. And I tell you, I could feel the daggers from other psychics. Oh my God, I'm not going to get any work. And I just go for every event. I would say, let me talk to those people that can hear my words, their words my way. Their words that are given to me, I can speak it. Because I'm kind of blunt. I tell it as I don't put it in flowers or any kind of, I just walk like that. And so those people would be the ones coming to me. I gave a ministry to a young, beautiful woman, and she was the most sweet soul. And if you're watching, you know I'm talking about you. Just a delicate flower. And she talked like that. And people loved it. I don't know how to talk like that. I used to be an engineering supervisor and a horse rider and a long distance runner. I don't know how to talk soft and fluffy. um, change in appearance, change in personality habits. And then they aren't the original to themselves.
Hmm.
You may hear people say, I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't keep straight. I don't know what's wrong with me. And nothing fits right. Yet everybody does. Everything fits. I don't feel like myself. Well, hello. Who's attached to you or who's bombarding that person? Especially kids in high school. There's so much jealousy. There's so much bullying. And so you get people throwing this stuff at you all the time. What if a teacher doesn't like a kid who is just woman, female or male? That child would feel it. How are you going to embrace a child and say you're wonderful, go to school and do good things when someone doesn't like them there? That torment, that pounding back and forth. So we have to learn how to do this. How do we teach children how to do this? Well, I'm going to give you some ideas, okay? How not to accept. So I have an expression I say, I will not own that which is not mine. I say it, I say it, I say it. And sometimes you can just be rude and say, get off of me. I don't want to own you. Oh, I feel you on my face. I whoa, push it away. Still works. But I don't want to own someone else's issue. Why? Because this is what I do for a living. If I will own your grief, if I own your discomfort in life, if I own your discord, I can't own it all. I have to be the person outside looking in, the teacher, the one that gives the information back. I know what's hurting you. I know what's going on. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. And you will survive. This is life. You chose this life. Why do you choose this life?
Hmm.
You know, go there if you have to. I will not own that which is not mine. I know who I am. I know the borders of me. I know what I feel like. And when something isn't right, something's not right. Think about it and try to figure out where it's on your body and then push it off. Okay, some things you can do, and this is like every time I turn on Facebook or anything I want to do, Please keep yourself healthy. Well, we're trying. You're trying, right? I don't eat everything I was supposed to either. And if I don't, then it gives me indigestion. I'm learning. If it's giving me indigestion, then clearly it's not going to help me keep healthy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As best as possible, keep yourself healthy. Someone who is constantly ill or tired can be assaulted by someone else's thoughts. Absolutely. And I know everybody has had those. Look at this. Everybody else has had those problems. You have a conversation with somebody at work or a family member, or you're just somewhere, and you say something you wish, oh man, why did I say that? It just came out my mouth. Oh. And that other person that you said this bad thing to or stupid thing to is getting in the car leaving. That darn person, that just hurt my feelings. I'm up. Guess what? That anger is coming and blasting right inside the head. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
That's real uncomfortable. Have I had that? Well, I try never to hurt anybody's feelings. I can be blunt. But sometimes the way I say it is the way it's supposed to be. But I would never intentionally hurt anybody. And I just show up places and people didn't want me there.
Mm-hmm.
Change your vibration. Someone who is negative cannot stay on you. If
Mm-hmm.
you change how you feel, and like I told Shaw, I don't really watch a lot of TV. She says, I'm watching the Waltons. I go, what? Waltons? I never saw one issue. Just probably too busy. So I love Carol Burnett. In fact, I have her disc, it's a package. I also have the package of Lauren Hardy movies. There was a period of time in my life I was really, it wasn't the cancer, it was something else. After my divorce, I got into some health issues. Lauren Hardy saved me. I couldn't help but laugh. Now I know there's a wonderful, and I used to watch Laugh In, that was funny, but remember, this is my generation. So
Mm-hmm.
whomever, Saturday Night Live, we, I didn't watch Saturday Night Live either. It was too late at night. I had to get up. Had to get 5 o'clock in the morning to get to work. Any light-hearted romance movie for us women, absolutely. Where you can laugh at somebody. Are you kidding me? So at times that's what you need. And if you feel down, watch something that pulls you back up. And I think it's very healing. Absolutely. I also enjoy, my husband watches YouTube on the TV, and he will watch the silly stuff where people fall down and get hurt and kind of thing. You know what I like? I like animal stuff. So I'll find the animal station. Just cockapoo. The other day there was a huge cockapoo on this guy's shoulder, and he wanted attention. He wanted to have his picture taken. It was the funniest thing I'd seen in a long time. I loved it. And puppies that run and fall over themselves. Laugh, laugh, laugh. Change your vibration. I think we ought to give ourselves 10 minutes a day just to be happier. And in
Mm-hmm.
today's world, we need to be happier. Conflict, children being killed. Oh my gosh. I bleed every day for everybody and can't, because we can't. You have to be in your place. If you had chosen that life, you'd be there. We're here. This is all I can do. And all I can tell people. I say, go get an umbrella, open it up and put it above your head. Now, what kind of control do you have? I don't know. I says, open the umbrella and I look up. See where the umbrella comes out? Standing under the only thing you have control over. You can vote, but you can only vote when there's voting done.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get on the street, campaign, be safe. You can also become more loving. Remember good and loving times with parents, children, or a partner. Sometimes we have to go backwards to look at good things.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have good memories of events I used to do with our neighbors. My kids were into 4-H. I mean, the rabbits and the quail and the events and things I've done. Yes, you look back. Sometimes you have to go far enough back and just meditate, relax rather. Relax on what made you happy in the past. We as human beings try too hard to discover who we are that would make us happy starting from this day forward. A lot of times what makes us happy has already occurred. Go back, find out what that was, right?
Mm-hmm.
I learned to rollerblade when I turned 50. Duh, got my first tattoo at 50. My daughter bought me a tattoo in celebration. That was alive. That the cancer didn't get me. You got, Mama, you're 50. Let's go get our toes tattooed. Your toes? Oh, please don't get your toes done. I got roses on a toe. Very hurtful, very significant. The pain was worth it. And I laugh because both of us got the same tattoo on the same toes. Wonderful. Good memory. Good memory. So pull the memories from the past. Future hobbies, sometimes they're in our past. I wouldn't encourage someone to buy a horse and start racing them, but there's some things of it. You can volunteer at a ranch, help walk a pony or something, or a veterinary clinic, or do something else. Find something that gave you love and attention or pleasure and do it again. This is something that's pretty close to my heart. Be grateful. I am so grateful I'm alive. I would never, ever have thought my birthday's the end of this month, and it's the oldest I've ever been in my life, and never, ever. And I got cancer at 39. Not only did I not think I'd live to be 50, not 60, not 70, now, blah, blah, blah. I'm getting there, honey. I'm so grateful. And I said this last time or the week before. Oh, sorry, honey. Let me just finish the thought. My mom would call me, and she'd say, "Oh, it's going to be a good day." I go, "What, Mom?" She said, "I woke up." That grateful statement, "I woke up." She always started positive. She'd wake up in the morning. She says, "I woke up." Wow, Mom. She died really young at 83 from osteoporosis. So it was tough. So being spiritual or more religious is also a point of being grateful. If you get that from your spiritual groups or the religious group, that works. What, Charlie, you were going to say?
Nothing. Keep going.
Okay. So the people, the energy could be someone blasting you, unwanted. It could be a spirit or ghost, or the energy of a living person who is negative. Remember, I said blast you, and trying to attach or take your energy or drown you, some way hurt you. Oh, bad stuff, bad, bad man, and trying to attach and set off good vibes from you. Um, I I do have people call me outside of a reading thinking it's okay, always just give me a call. If I can talk, I always do. But I also get tired. And I have people call me up and say, "I just need to talk to someone positive. I really want you to give me something positive because I'm just having such a bad day." Well, I can pause it all day long to help you, but it also drains me. But people really need that. And if they don't tell you what they need, they could do it to you unconsciously. So I'm thinking of someone, and I know she means well, and she loves me. But negative people unwillingly will think of somebody in a light, good way, but not realizing they're pulling off of you your own life force. And that's when I tell people, if you get into this work, please keep healthy. We get our electricity from our muscle masses. Yes, I know potassium, magnesium, all that, but our muscles help create electricity. And so I want you to look that up if you don't understand that. One area which I should have written down first is to know who you are and this is when I said write down who you are. What you feel like, every inch of your person. No, women don't like that. Are you kidding? No way I'm going to stand in front of a mirror naked. I'm too old. But I know what I feel like. I know my arms, my shoulders, my hips. I know my knees. They are what they are. And my ankles. And if someone were attached to me, would I know? Well, it wouldn't feel right. And that's the hardest thing for us to do is to feel the body. And I just said that. If a living person is negative and trying to attach and suck it off of you, you have to be gentle and push it off. One area which I should have written down is that which know who you are. You don't feel right mentally, scan your body for an unwelcome attachment or energy. And there's such a thing as an imaginary. I'm going to get rid of that. And 30 years ago, someone said, "Well, just get a pair of scissors." I go, "Imaginary scissors?" Well, the thing is that you are creating power with your hand. And rather you grab it, which I've done, grab that person and throw them down and say, "You are not welcome." You put back that negative energy. Oh, they go like this. Oh my gosh, their hands are by their face. Or as I have had friends say, they imagine they're holding a pair of scissors and there were the big fabric scissors, those great big ones like that. You can cut 4 or 5 sheets of fabric at once. They get those biggies and cut that. Works because the person who's doing it goes, "Oh, what's happening? There's something wrong here. I can't stay attached." So what do you do about all this? Well, being in a bad space or being tired or being where you aren't usually, and that's from running around or someone's made you mad or frustrated you. And for me, I call it breaking the energy. Like I said, sometimes watching Carol Burnett or Lauren Hardy. I have a lady who likes to cook in the kitchen. I have another lady that works in ceramics. And if they have a bad day, they'll just turn around and turn to their hobby. I pledged to God a year and a half after my cancer that they said, well, it looks like we got it, but we're going to watch you for 5 years and then for 15. Like 15 years, I got to worry. And so sometimes I like getting in the car, and it doesn't mean I have to do anything particular. I just get in the car if it's gasoline or go to the grocery store or the thrift store, just whatever's closest to me. I call it breaking the energy. And sometimes doing that brings you up. Now, the thing about a car is if it's a sunny day, I want to park, not where it blows and gets in your eyes, park where it's comfortable. I have a bigger car and I sit in it and I feel like a queen in this great big car, big taller car. And I love the sun on me and I relax my energy field. And sometimes I talk to the spirit people in there. That's where I pray and it's really good, right? Not that I say I don't like my cats, but sometimes you get in a really good peaceful moment and you hear, which happened a few minutes ago. So I do things in my car, and I really love it. Um, in my car, I wrote this down. Once in the car, quiet yourself, calm yourself, and then take some breaths. And last week I said the word, sorry, mindfulness. So a calming breath on purpose is a mindful moment. Try that. And then I note, how do I feeling now that I've calmed and it feels serene and I've taken that calming, thoughtful breath. If still something feels off, no matter where it is on your body, grab it, yank it off. They're not welcome. And lastly, which is a difficult technique, is laugh at an individual or entity. This is difficult, but you can do this. I actually did this like 30 years ago. What? Who are you? Not to be not ill advising you to scream and yell and but like, who are you? And it startles them. Unconsciously, these people get it. What? Who are you? Get off. You are not invited to be part of me. Mm-hmm. And I want you to mean it. I actually have done this when I felt something not of my wanting or allowing. That's different than what I said up there. Sometimes people just attach. How many times have you been to a store and you see someone looking at you kind of like, mm-hmm. Yeah, guess what you're going to get blasted with? Whoa. Sorry. I do have a sense of someone in distress. A client, and often we'll call a few people to see if it's a loved one. Sometimes I'll get it so strongly, it's distressing. So I'll line up my phone. I have 4 or 5 people. I go, blah, 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 blah. Is everybody okay? And they go, Mom, we're fine. And then I'll get a call from a client. I wanted to give you some examples. I gave you some pretty negative ones there. I would like to give you some in other ones. A mother's love for her child. She sends energy to this child. What is the child getting? Nothing but loving. And I told you once, I have a male son. And even though we're American Indians, he only has to shave like a couple places on his face. Thanks, Mom, for no body hair. So I know what his face feels like, and I can actually close my eyes. Just did it. He is very intuitive. He sometimes says, he never told me, but he knows I've kissed him, and I can do that. We can do those positive things. Make your child feel better. A child, how many of you have had a child say to you, there's a death in the family? Mm-hmm. You betcha. And Sharon probably has that kind of story too. The lady who felt and channeled an alien. This was a client 92, 93. I wasn't very broad-minded in those years. It was hard enough for me to be labeled a psychic and a medium. Those are the words that people heard in circus. Oh, and the word, oh, are you the teller? When I would go to an event, I would just go, oh man. Well, this is my reaction. This woman come in and she sat down. She says, I'm having trouble getting to my guy. Okay. And she says, well, he's off world and he is very nice and he gives me information. And I went, okay. I'm trying to be really open because I'd only been here 2 or 3 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So remember Jane Roberts? She channels Seth, Seth. So look, Seth. What was that one of the books? I got them all on my shelf. I should have pulled one. Jane Roberts talks to Seth, something like that. This is an amazing woman, but it also like Edgar Casey, it did kill her. It just drained her dry. So I'm sitting with this lovely friend of mine. She became a friend. All of a sudden, I wasn't here. I was like, way somewhere, and it felt really far. And the thought of, okay, this is really scary. And I thought, I'm going to talk to an alien? Oh, fudge. And he was very nice and gentle, almost like the feeling of root beer,
Mm-hmm.
But he was loud voiced. And I thought, if I'm talking to an alien, how does it speak English? I mean, all the languages are, I don't know. But he connected to her because I connected to him. I have no idea what the disconnect is, but it absolutely took me for a flat, like this crazy. But his energy was real different than anybody else's. How many of us are walking around and we get blasted by something and it's really not us? It's really not a dust planet. Maybe it's from aliens. And then everybody goes, oh, Nancy, come on, get off that. Well, my husband has seen 3 UFOs. Hello. If you met him, you go, oh man, he's just like square. He's seen 3. And one of them was going where Shar and I had a house up there in Montague. I was in Hornbrook, she was Montague. There's this big, picturesque valley. I mean, it's just like so gorgeous. Like, I miss that so much. And there was a football size UFO floating across the sky like a blimp, but it wasn't a blimp. It was not a blimp. And Larry's going around the corner, and there was cars parked on the left side that's going down. And they were all doing this with a finger in the sky, looky. And Larry looked, and he didn't even believe it. He goes, well, okay, it's a UFO. He goes to town, comes back. I went, did you not take a picture with your phone? Oh, no. You go, God. So I know that we're not making this up. There is something going on. I truly believe it. And then I ended up having a little experience up there on Black Mountain. We were at 3,000 elevation. And I told Char about this. I said, what makes us think that they are from somewhere else? The Indian that talked to me, he says, we want to be on the dirt. And you know what? I didn't understand that. The next day, and when he said that, I says, well, get on the dirt. What's wrong with you? Here I am being flippant with an alien. Well, it's alien to me. Didn't mean it was from a different dimension or spiritual place or, solar system. They're ant people. They're under the dirt. And I was able to, and then when I saw the ship, who said I went up? Maybe I went down.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? I was at 3,000 foot elevation. It could be right there. Mount Shasta is when the stones were away from Black Mountain, about 5 miles across the dirt. So it could be even from that. Thoughts of feelings for my cat. Absolutely. Both my cats, of course, I'm intuitive, right? But one of them is just looks at me and says, human, you're not doing my bidding, honey. It's just amazing. Like, what does it take for you to understand? I want you to open the door so I can look out and smell the other cats. Oh, God. How many of you have been on the freeway and you feel someone looking at you and you go, oh my God, what's my speed?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Tell me that hasn't happened. Um, how about finding that parking place and someone beat you to it? Mm-hmm. You see it. They felt you see it. Everybody clambers through it. And then this happened to me the other day, and I really wanted to know. Shar and I were talking about somebody, and it's a well-known gentleman. He's 60, I think now, 60s. I do like him. And I had his name wrong, and I says, "Oh my God, what's his name?" He has a nickname for his first name. It's not his real name. I was looking it up. I thought, "Oh, I'm hearing this other name," so I never did find it. I don't know. But I was looking at him, and I wondered to myself, he's really good psychic. I thought, "Oh my gosh, is he feeling me, Brian, trying to figure out what his first name is because it's clearly this was not the nickname." And I don't want to embarrass him. I'm thinking again of him. I'm sure he might be picking me up. And I thought, oh my gosh, is he suspecting somebody's attaching to him? I just really like the guy and just wanted his first name. We do this constantly without realizing it. The difference is with your intent. What are you doing? You sending love, compassion, and humor to this person? Or are you sending, I need your life force, honey. I need more of you, more of you. Or are you angry? These people are being bombarded by unwanted attention from you. That's love. That's one thing. That's different. If it's a deceased, unalive human being,
Mm-hmm.
a spirit, if you feel that, and sometimes it feels different because it's the whole body and you can feel grief from it. I'm so sorry you're unhappy with your life. I'm so sorry this was a terrible episode for you, but I'm not the one that can help you. Have to be real clear. This is a human being that's in distress. If someone came to your house and they'd just been in a car accident, you didn't see the car, you just know something terrible happened. They come in, they sit on your couch and just crying your eyes out. Pretend that person now has no flesh. How would you deal with it? Got it? If I could get everybody to believe in that, and we
Mm-hmm.
talk about, we see movies all the time, yet we don't believe in the afterlife, we don't believe in the Bible. Hello, how many people have, well, I am, I just love the near-death experiences, and I also enjoy reading um, verification of children's reincarnation stories, the
Mm-hmm.
channel LMN, Reincarnated Ghost in My Child, and some of these are wonderful stories, and yet at the same time they exhibit psychic abilities. And if it's a child living with the parents, fine. But what if it's a bad day? What everybody else is getting hit with? Poltergeist activity. Is it a child? Is it a human being or is it a spirit person? That is a good example of being out of control psychic class. Oh, like this. Think of it that way. Well, this isn't very long. I want it just to 7:30, but you have to appreciate. I when I hang up and we go on about an hour later, I start relaxing down because this is all fun. Drives me up. I think, oh, I should have said. So I try to give you the best I can think of in the moment because I did spend a few hours today putting my thoughts together and typing this up. But I want you to know that the invisible world is so amazing that if you could get into this and just watch some of the shows, Shar shows she has a lot of guests on mine. Um, in fact, I have not moved over probably the last 6 shows, but I have over 100 shows I've done with Shar at Nancy Matz Psychic, and she will get credit every time you watch it on my channel. So go there and watch them and all the topics. And I really want you to enjoy your life and enjoy being in the moment in your flesh because it's only a blink of an eye. When I think about dating my first husband all through high school, it seemed like yesterday that we got married. It goes really fast. It's hard to appreciate it, let alone someone zapping you. Get off. So keep that in mind, everybody. It's been fun talking to you. Um, give us a thumbs up on this, okay? All right, Char.
All right, that was interesting, and yeah, I do have some personal experiences with that. One in particular, it's like anything else. Like you were talking earlier about maybe going into a room, going to the supermarket, and somebody's looking at you a certain way, and you can just tell they don't like you. And I was on an investigation. I'm not going to give any names out. And we were doing a post for that particular investigation, and somebody had brought their mother along. And as I'm sitting there, it dawns on me that that this energy is coming my way,
Ooh,
and I could
ooh.
tell. And what I did mentally at that point was I created a garbage can lid, a shiny garbage can lid,
I love
and I pointed it at her in my mind.
it. Hmm.
And the look of shock on her face when she realized that the energy she was sending towards me got sent right back at her.
Yeah.
But that's
You send it
why,
out, you get it 10 times back.
yeah, and it came back to her because it was a little shiny garbage can lid, right? It was like putting out a shield, an aluminum shield.
Shield. Yeah, I
Yeah,
like
aluminum
that,
shield.
Char.
And so I was able to shoot. The thought I did too was when I saw the look on her face, mentally I just went right back at you, you know. But there are people like that. There are people you can tell. I mean, there's people that, will call you on the phone even, and when you get off the phone, suddenly you're feeling depressed because you're feeling their
Abs-
energy.
That's really, really, that's true. That
Mm-hmm.
happens to me a lot, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people call for the session to get out of that spot.
Mm-hmm.
And, sometimes we work really hard. I have a big card file in my head, topic, okay, under the topic, what's going on. And I have to really, really, I think very quickly, so I can do this. But
Mm-hmm.
it is sometimes very stressing because you don't want them not
That case
to
I'm
hurt.
working on now, the client had the compulsion when she first moved in. She had a compulsion to clean the house constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
it was
interesting.
not only a compulsion, it was taking over her life, where she felt that something or
Mm.
someone in the house didn't like the way she kept house. So she was constantly cleaning,
Oh,
you know? So you run into that. So you got to be careful, especially in public places, movies, anywhere where there's a lot of people, you know?
be
And the
aware
other
of
thing
who
is,
you are.
and
Mm-hmm.
the other thing is too, as far as ghosts go and all this, like Nancy has said before, they miss the energy. They miss that life force energy. And so when they get someone coming in that has this beautiful, bright life force, and it's like a beacon in the night, they want to
Yeah,
reach out and touch you. And when they do, it's very draining. Very draining.
yeah.
So you have to watch out for that. You have to set your boundaries. It's not that hard to set your boundaries. You just have to, when you walk into a movie theater, sit down, set your boundaries, and say, look, don't bother me. I want to watch my movie. Stay away. That's just simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, again, I will have the gingerbread house finished later on tonight. I'm not going to go live. I will shoot some video of that, plus the galactic eggs that I worked on with this guy back here. And so you guys will get, I might show it tomorrow during the show. I might just post it as a regular video on YouTube and Facebook. So I'll see how I feel after I'm finished with it. So be on the lookout for that. Tomorrow is going to be a fun night. Preston Dennett is back with us. And we're going to be talking about undersea UFO bases.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing how big our planet is that we've not looked at, discovered.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like we've only looked at 10% of all the ocean.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Wow. So we'll see what he has. He has written a book about it. So he's done his research. So it should be an interesting show tomorrow. In the meantime, I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. It's always fun to have Nancy on. Nancy got moved to today because we have another guest on Friday who specifically requested Fridays. So who am I to say no? So Dr. Woodard will be on with us in Nancy's spot on Friday. So it should be interesting to see what he comes up with. And what I like about him is he's a psychologist, a psychiatrist, who understands the paranormal.
And what's he going to talk about?
He's going to talk about, I think it's along the line of building up, how to build up your supernatural awareness.
Might be some of what I said tonight.
Yeah, it could be. So
Mm-hmm,
I mean, it's interesting.
Similar. Be
Similar,
interesting to hear it from somebody else.
Especially from a clinician like that. For somebody in the medical field. So that's what we're going to be talking about on Friday. Okay, I'll give you a heads up. Tuesday, tomorrow is Preston Dennett. Wednesday is a gentleman named A.W. Finnegan, and he has grown up with Lyme disease in his family. And there's a particular German or Russian. I'm just looking at. There's a particular German or Russian scientist who used to who was one of the main creators of biological weapons. And then the United States got a hold of this guy, put him on an island, and he was working with ticks and Lyme disease and things like that. And somehow this guy, my guest believes that somehow the Lyme disease got released.
You know, there's a
Into the
theory. There
population.
was a rumor. Remember the movie Mothman
Yep.
and the bridge that collapsed? Well, in the
Yep.
same area, secret underground caverns that were created for chemical warfare and experimentation, and they were wondering if that Mothman was one of the experiments that got loose. Just that came out a while back, and years ago, and I went, "Wow, what an interesting thought." Who knows?
Yes, so again, we're going to be talking about Lyme disease, maybe possibly having been used as a bioweapon here in the United States.
Wow.
So it should be interesting to see how that plays out. Thursday, our good friend Stan Dale will be with us. He didn't get a chance to do it this last week because his wife had food poisoning, so he didn't have the chance to come on. But he will definitely be with us on Thursday, and we're going to be talking ancient giants, aliens, and Atlantis, and everything under the sun with him. UFOs, you name it. He's really he's good at talking about this stuff. So he'll be with us on Thursday, and then of course Friday will be Dr. Woodard talking about supernatural awareness. So there you have it. Okay, now I'm going to show you Nancy's contact information. Thank you for coming on, Nancy. We were switching days on Nancy this week, and she was very, very kind to come on today. And me doing the work over, and I was going to do that Lego today. April Fool, here I am. So
it went right on my head. What'd you say?
I was going to do Lego Yoda today because I had announced it on Saturday night when I built the gingerbread house.
Oh.
But today's April 1st. Nancy's here. April Fool. So here we it's like April Fool's
Am I an
Day.
April Fool?
I fooled y'all. I fooled y'all. All right, so I'm going to show you Nancy's contact information, and be sure to visit Nancy's YouTube page. And again, if you're watching from Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, or wherever you're watching from, and you haven't done so already, and you like what you saw today, please hit that follow button. Please hit that subscription button on YouTube. I'd really appreciate it. All right, so here's Nancy's contact information, and then we're going to sign off, and I'll see you guys at 6:30 p.m. Pacific tomorrow. So here's Nancy's info. Websites, nancymatz.com. The N and the M and the com are all lowercase. NancyMatzAuthor.com. The N, the M, and the A are capped. YouTube.com/Nancy Matz. The N, the M, and the P are capped for that one. All right, here's her books. Help get me out of this funk. Two Worlds, Developing Your Psychic Skills. And The Unwilling Sacrifice. And of course, you can get those at Amazon.com. Be sure to check out Nancy's website. It's got some really cool information on there if you haven't done so already. Okay.
I want to thank Marissa. You have put some nice thoughts there, Marissa. Thank you.
Fantastic.
That's very sweet of you.
And for everybody that's listening out of the chat room, because I know you're there, the lurkers, thank you for lurking. And for the RSS people that are going to be listening tonight, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And let's just keep sharing. So on that note, if you like the show, share it with 5 people. If you hated the show, share it with 5 of your enemies. We are equal opportunity here at California Haunts Radio. Just trying to get the word out of our little old show. All right? I appreciate each and every one of you. With that done, see you tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Pacific. Same place, same spot with Preston Dennett. Bye.
Good night, everybody.